Roll call.
Austin Poole here.
Cody Hassel, here.
Wired here. First item is approval of meeting minutes.
Make a motion to approve.
Austin Cool, second.
She was right on that.
I have approved, a first and a second for approval of the meeting minutes. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, the same. Motion carries. Citizen input, seeing no citizens. Project oversight and update. Chad, what you got?
I guess according to council, we were waiting for USDA approval for the Hendrick Street project to go up for bids. Hopefully here, again, like I said, next week. Mitch and I have been working on final plan sets for the Lum Street sidewalk extension and Henry Street sidewalk extensions, along with Indian Hills mill and overlay project.
Full depth?
Yeah, full depth though. Unclassified excavations or whatever soft spots that we do find, which I know we will, especially on the south side coming down toward Minnetonka. I will be starting to solicit bids for crack filling, and I'll probably stick with the chip sealing like I did last year that Scott's did. Two companies, Scott's Construction or Farner Asphalt does that. Seems like it's a pretty good process, and I didn't get any complaints, which I thought I was gonna, because all the dust and the loose aggregate.
Yeah,
And it seems a whole lot better than the micro sealing.
absolutely. It's more durable, the plows don't pull it up as bad.
I mean, it stays black, pulls the heat in, melts the roads out, that's all usage. I mean, it's a little bit harder in my plow blades, but we're running car blades now, so that doesn't seem to be as much of an issue as it has been in years past.
And
Mild
that's,
steel.
it's worth it for the longevity of the product.
Yeah. So I'll be soliciting bids. It's Clarkson Road, maybe Adams, Jefferson, Polk, Wessinger. I just gotta get out on the streets and walk them and see what I can get done for.
Our little portion of Clarkson that way, not the one, the Portland side. that-
Yeah, I did Clarkson, or chip seal Clarkson Road.
Last year.
Somebody
No,
did
our
it.
section of Clarkson
Yeah,
Road.
we're,
We're west.
no, yeah.
Oh,
I chip sealed that back in 2017 when I took over the director position, so it's due again, but I mean, it's a mile long too, so I don't know what I can all get done interior and still maintain rural streets too. And Clarkson really gets beat up by Craves and Rademachers with their
heavy equipment.
with chopping and practices. And
It's another one of those roads, like we did with Waterloo Road, to do a combined city township project. I mean, it needs to get widened a little bit and all that kind of good stuff. Are you done? I was gonna ask you one more thing about Hendricks.
I think I'm done.
Okay. Mitch also said something about we had to move because of the DNR.
Oh.
We had to move where we were gonna put the road entrance.
So in talking with the one developer that we had, we were thinking about putting the extension in 333 perpendicular with the ice skating rink parking lot. With all of the wetlands and delineations and stuff, we're gonna have to move it back to the south, kind of more towards, if you guys remember, where the old Snowmobile Bridge used to come
Right.
across.
Yep.
It's already been filled in, so we don't have to take as
Smaller gap.
much impact on the wetlands. Because
So now we're back to that spot.
similar to where the
Something-
sewer comes across currently right now, so.
Right.
That's never a bad idea to co-mingle those.
Which is what I always wanted to begin with, because that's kind of the pitch we've been selling people when we're talking about Clarkson Road, that this is gonna come in and it's gonna follow
Yeah,
the existing sewer plant, or sewer line.
Yep.
So, now it's back to that, so. Yeah, at some point we'll see how them drawings.
Anything else, Chad?
I think that's it.
Excellent. Moving on to unfinished business. I see nothing listed. Does anybody have anything to bring?
Nope.
New business. We can just take them in order, Chad, if you want. Taylor Street.
Okay, yeah, we'll start with Taylor Street parking lot. Currently, our ordinance, winter parking from November 15th to April 1st, there's no winter on street parking. And then that also goes from 3 AM to 5 AM. Also coincides with our municipal parking lots. Well, there's so many residents downtown on West Madison Street that the Taylor Street parking lot is plugged up. So when it snows out, Dennis is going down there writing tickets to anywhere from 5 to 15 cars a night. Well, these residents are coming up, well, okay, so if you write me a ticket at 3 o'clock in the morning, I can't move it down the street, I can't move it in the parking lot, where am I supposed to go with it? So with staff talking back and forth, the only real solution we come up with, I mean, I can add like 4 more reserved parking down there, which would help, but it doesn't address the whole problem. So instead of making Taylor Street included with the winter parking, just doing it like we do in the summertime, a 24-hour parking lot year-round. Because it's unfair for them people, there's no place for them to park.
So you're looking for an ordinance change
Yes.
for that parking
For the
lot?
Taylor Street parking lot to be a 24-hour, 365 parking lot.
How and
So
when
when
would you
people-
ever, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I mean, with the people that pay for spots there. What
They wouldn't have to pay for them, but I know a few individuals work from home, so they don't move their vehicles.
I thought we rented those down.
We do.
We do,
Okay.
So
we
if-
do, that's what I'm saying, then if we make it that way, then,
Then you could rent out the rest of
Well,
them?
no, we
No,
would
I
lose
won't.
that, we wouldn't rent it at all, and it would just be,
You-
were
you-
saying
you-
that, right?
If you wanna rent a stall, you don't have to move your vehicle.
Okay.
24-hour parking, you still have to move your vehicle once within 24 hours.
Okay,
Obviously, probably won't
Yeah.
totally get enforced, but if I notice one that's been there for a day or two, I'll have Dennis put an orange tag on or drop the tires or something, you know?
because that was gonna be my question, then how do you plow it if those cars don't move?
Well, so typically right now, it's plugged up, so there's 3 driveway entrances. I plow in 3 times, and that's all I can do.
And then it just basically,
Wait for them to move, and I go down
Yeah.
the skid loader and clean it up.
yeah,
I mean, we tried plowing in between them, and then end up with bent
yeah,
up vehicles or knocked off light poles, so I just called the guys, I said, whether it's myself or the other 3, I said, you do 3 passes in, and that's it.
The drive aisles,
Yep,
basically.
yep, the driving lanes,
Is that parking lot full?
every day.
Hmm?
Every day.
I'm not sure how many we have renting those spots, so.
that's
that
why.
would-
There's 6 down there currently that
Is
are
there?
rented out. I could potentially put,
$10 a month, so.
I could potentially put 4 more in, but like I said, it's,
Mhm.
okay, so the 4 lucky people get to buy the parking stop lots or stalls, and then the other guys, you still have no option for them, and I feel bad writing
Yeah.
parking tickets to these people if they don't have an option.
Right.
I mean, potentially they could get, in a weekend, they could get $60 worth of tickets.
So potentially if somebody did wanna rent it, they could, and that just guarantees them a spot.
Yeah. But
Okay.
as of right now, the 6 that are down there are full. Or that are rented or spoken for already, so.
Right, and what's the total amount of spots down there?
I think there's 28.
Yeah? Wasn't that many?
There's
3
Five-
rows?
5 rows?
Is it 3 rows? 1?
the middle one, I think, is
There's,
double.
there's 2 double rows,
Is there?
there's
Okay.
2 double rows, and then a single row.
Okay,
Probably not an opportunity to expand to the west either, is there? You probably end up putting a
kind of
retaining wall.
limited
We,
down.
yeah, when we did that project back in 2012, when they tore down the buildings and stuff, there was talks about expanding further towards the cul-de-sac, but then, like you said, it's retaining a wall, and then it was just too much of a cost to get another row of parking stalls.
So would it make sense to give them like a parking permit or parking pass and not have them essentially rent it out? But just the residents, like,
Pass by address.
yeah, like we know their actual residents there.
We
Like,
had-
kind of how the on-street, or like people get,
We had talked about that too, but the girl, Sarah didn't really seem, Dennis didn't really think that was a good idea. I didn't really persuade either, it's just. Cause then you're gonna potentially, I mean, we're opening up a little bit anyways with these other 2 lots, but
But we don't rent 203.
no,
We rent back here,
yes.
Yep.
which we still have open spots too, don't we? For people or no?
I think there's a couple on the north end.
Okay. Alright. Well, I have to look at the ordinance and see what it looks like to change it. I mean, renting it is nice because then that guarantees people a spot, you know?
But,
But
I
is
mean,
it
there's
always full though?
every day, every morning.
Huh.
Depending
Crazy.
on, depending on the time of day I get down there, if I get down there at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, it's about full.
That's crazy, okay.
I mean, it's easy on my end. I mean, I take one sign down that says, you know, all the rules on it, say 24-hour parking lot. It's gonna cost city $35. And as far as the ordinance, I guess I would have to look into the other street parking lot ordinance, but.
Yeah, we'd have to look at the no parking ordinance and see if that is actually listed. Excellent. Natural lawns.
Yeah, talk on this
No,
for a little
I'm gonna
bit.
let you do it, because this is
Losing my
me
voice.
hounding you, this is the year of getting stuff done.
Okay, so natural lawns, this started probably 2 years ago with an individual on West Madison Street that threatened to sue me when I sent her a week notice. So we don't technically have anything on our ordinance per se, other than noxious weeds. So, I mean, there is some people in town that got nice natural lawns and take care of them.
Right across the street.
Right across the street, there's one up on Jefferson Street, there's one over on East Madison Street, there's a number around town. So what we're looking for, we kinda dropped the ball last spring, is to come up with an ordinance for, you know, adopting somebody's ordinance to put in ours for natural lawns. Jeannie and I have been looking into these. I found one from Portage, she found one from Jefferson. I actually kinda like the one from Jefferson, that was,
Pretty simple.
yes, the bullet pointed. And it speaks on what type of plants you can have, distances from lot lines, distances from the street. Actually calling in to have it, you know, put a plan set together, or giving the city a plan,
And a mix,
plant mix and what you're gonna plant and that kind of stuff, so.
Yeah,
So the permit, there's like a copy of a permit on the Portage one, because I'm sure we don't have a permit existing already,
No.
so I know they're kinda out of order. Sarah scanned it a little goofy.
What's going on?
I know, but it is its one and only single little page. I think it's probably earlier in the package, yeah. So this might be, I don't know why it's got so many darn property addresses on it. Notification of property owners of 300 people.
that seems like,
Excessive. I don't know why. If we give them a permit to do it, why would a neighbor have to sign it?
I mean, adjoining adjacent property owners maybe, but not 300 feet, I mean.
We don't
some
even-
zoning
we don't-
ordinances go that way
Does
though,
it?
with ordinances and changes to your property. The zoning ordinance dictates the distance from the property that you have to notify.
That's weird.
Some do, I'm not
Yeah.
certain about Waterloo's.
But yeah, I mean, I like this one from Jefferson, it's pretty short and sweet, and
Okay.
kinda gets down to it.
Are we worried about all the names on here? Is that overkill, or more, is it better to have it than not?
I think it's better.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
Just generally.
As long as we
things.
can identify them.
Correct.
Right, and it's
Correct.
gonna be
We need
parallel,
McCain
it's
Nursery to do that.
gonna be parallel with the noxious weed ordinance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So, I mean, you could just refer to noxious weed ordinance as part of this ordinance too.
Yeah, you can get rid of all these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just confirming that our weed ordinance is up to date.
So when we say must,
Certainly is.
so on your thing here, it says, property owners who currently have natural landscapes must file for a permit and submit a plan. So we don't have that many, but at the same time, we'll know who they are. and-
Yeah, and that wouldn't be that big of a deal,
Okay.
I mean, we could take a couple minutes to go
So
Yeah.
is this permit one and done every year? I'm just kind of curious how the permit would run. Is there a fee for it?
I would assume there should be some sort of filing fee through the
I think it's
clerk's office.
$25.
Did it say that somewhere?
Here.
Or is it a different one?
We
Oh, it
can,
says on the Portage one, yeah.
we can determine that to add a fee.
Yeah,
when we get further down the line.
well,
That's
and
what we
then,
choose to do.
and that's why I wanna make sure this gets done before spring starts.
Yeah.
So if we have a permit, and then is it something that we wanna do annually? Do they have to file for this annually?
I mean, I
Or is
would,
it a one and done?
I could see we do a one and done unless it becomes an issue.
Okay.
Or do a 5-year, I mean, that's an option too.
Did any of these other ones have a time frame on it?
Or sale.
That's
Yeah,
what I was
so
gonna say, the sale of the property, because
It doesn't
You
even call.
would wanna include that too, I would think.
I mean, there's a little bit more in here too about if, you know, does not abate the nuisance, then there'll be penalties, which there's things that chief does with that.
Yeah, wanna keep it away from the sidewalk, so there's no layover on the sidewalk and creating a tripping hazard, things of that nature.
correct, and that's what.
Yeah, I mean, there should be a mowed grass strip.
Buffer space in between the public right of way and
Yep.
your private property.
That's why we need this, there's a big difference between people's interpretation of what's
Correct.
acceptable and what's not.
Yeah, I agree.
West Madison Street is not acceptable.
I would be fine pursuing this.
Okay, so what I'd like to see then is, are we gonna put in a dollar figure? Are we gonna put in a time frame? In the Jefferson one, it says, shall submit it to the planning commission. Does it need to come to the planning commission? You're the weed commissioner, I'm just
Probably
kinda
should, I
curious.
seen that too, it should probably come back to Public Works, in my opinion.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, cause it's really nothing the planning commission
No.
has to,
No,
you either abide by this, or you don't. They're not asking for a variance, which is kinda when you come to some of these things.
there should be a corner lot height restriction
Yep.
for a vision triangle
Do
issue.
you have anything like that
We
in
do.
Middleton?
Probably, I know we got vision triangle,
I know.
but I think we have natural lawns too.
I think there should be a fee, like
Yeah,
20,
yeah,
$15 to $25.
just for the processing of
Yeah.
the
I think
stuff.
like the street opening permit's like $30, I mean, yeah.
Match opening permit.
And we can determine if we wanna do that
Yeah.
annually or every 5 years, or at a sale or whatever we wanna do.
Well, if somebody's actually going through the effort to plant decent plants, they're gonna come back on an annual basis. I'm okay if we don't charge them annually, but it's still something that you're going to see, we're gonna know where these all are. You can lap it once or twice during the spring and summer, and just kinda see if they're taking care of it or not.
Yeah, cause they gotta call out the
Right.
noxious weeds if they
Right.
find their ways into it.
Yeah, and, you know, after time it all, you know, grows up, you gotta cut it off.
Right, start over and,
There's probably just gonna be a handful of people, so I
Right.
wouldn't think it would be.
right. Some people put it in the terrace, some people don't. It's just a matter of sight lines. I think that was part of something that was going on down there. The weeds were growing up around one of the poles.
I really don't know that we're gonna have a lot of new people, it's just gonna be ways to enforce the people that we have.
Yep.
Right.
Understood, absolutely.
So are you allowing it in the tree terrace or not?
As long as they take care of it, but if
Because
we
my-
come
my
by,
opinion- Just my opinion, we say don't put anything in the tree terrace because we have to work in the tree terrace. So what is the
True,
point- what is the
that
point of
that's at
having-
their own risk. So, for
Yeah,
example, how
absolutely.
many people do this around their mailboxes? That's city property. Lots of mailboxes are already got decorations and stones and plants and all that, and that's at our risk. So if
Yeah.
you even state that in there for that purpose, you know, if we gotta come in and tear something up, you know, you're gonna have to move your plants or they get destroyed. It's not like we're trying to be mean,
I mean,
it's
we'll-
our property.
we'll
It's in the right of way.
We'll restore
Correct.
it next.
And I thought there was something in there about the right of way, maybe one of these that I read.
Natural landscaping on city-owned property within the street right of way is strictly prohibited and shall include property between sidewalk
Perfect.
But,
less than 10 feet away from adjacent street, so, or sidewalk.
At least that gives the city discretion of saying you can't do it, but if you do it,
Mhm.
you check and check it out. If it's around their mailbox, it's a couple stones, and he's happy with it, it's fine, you just let it go. But they don't plant up the entire,
right, need our permission to
The whole
put
length,
it
the
there.
whole frontage.
Or just have an
I
area
gotta work in
limit,
that area.
No, right, you don't want it in the
No.
whole frontage.
3 foot by 3 foot area, but no larger or something, I think
Yeah.
just want it around their mailbox.
cause you can drive around town and see a lot of people have stuff around their little mailboxes and
And that looks
flowers.
fine.
It does, and it's pretty, there's nothing wrong with that.
Makes
But
it
it's-
easier.
I had an individual last year approach me, she wanted to do a natural lawn in front of her house and then the tree lawn, she lives on East Madison Street. So that's fine, you know, keep it low, fine and dandy, I said, but in 3 years, I said, the state's coming through.
Right.
It's getting ripped out.
Right.
She's like, no, I get it.
Yeah, as long as they understand that. So when the plan comes in and they have it in that right of way, you have the right to say, just so you know, this could happen.
And it's no different when they come in and do a street project too. I
Right,
mean,
exactly.
we're tearing it out,
Yeah.
we're,
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll see if you and Jeannie
We
can
don't-
doctor something up a little bit better one more time.
we don't need a motion to go forward.
Just to continue with it, it's just, bring it on the next agenda, I guess, is probably the right thing to do. What is
Okay.
it? Do we call that deferred?
Deferred, deferred action till the next meeting.
There you go.
Or the action item can be to have staff draft,
Yeah,
we could,
an ordinance for us to review.
yeah.
I
Either
mean,
way.
Jeannie and I could come up with something and send it out.
No, you can't do that though.
No, it'll just be the next meeting.
It'll be the next meeting.
Well,
I'll gladly look at it with you and stuff too.
right, okay.
That's fine.
I mean, you can send it out, we just cannot act on it.
Yeah, I don't want to
Right.
understand that. It's something-
Yeah, it won't be
something
a
for you
vote.
guys to- I know, but it's just something for you guys to
Sure.
look at.
Yeah.
Let's figure.
All good.
We can individually offer edits or suggestions,
Individual.
but not group.
Correct.
Yes.
There you go. All right, next fun
Parking
subject.
on lawns, Chad.
Parking on lawns.
6 minutes.
6 minutes, parking on lawns. So it mainly is an issue in winter time. People drive on across their sidewalks and park in their front lawns. And then while doing that, they back up and track mud and sediment and debris onto the public right of way and creates a public health and safety hazard, and it doesn't look very nice. So, trying to find an ordinance, I don't know what you guys.
It's the Brilliant one.
There's a Brilliant one and then there's a Green Bay one.
Yeah, there's City of Green Bay, there's a whole bunch of that. Yeah.
There's a lot of information on all that.
I guess I don't like doing this, I don't like telling people they can and can't do on their property.
But is there anything that tells them to make it a part of the driveway? Whether they put down, rock or something?
Some of the ordinance state, it must be gravel, brick, blacktop, concrete.
Right,
I'd shy away, it depends on the gravel, but I'd shy away from a non-paved surface.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do some of those turf blocks that let the grass come through, but don't track out. Biggest thing, for me, and I don't wanna tell people what to do with their properties either, but when they're tracking across the sidewalk and making a mess, then we gotta do something. And that should be handled with an erosion control issue or sediment tracking onto the streets ordinance. And that gives you the ability to write citations and get that corrected, rather than telling people how to deal with it. And tell them they can't.
Tell them they can't.
Yeah, tell them they can't, and then cite them for it when they do. That's the other way to handle it,
is that it's gonna
Which-
be more paved?
which keeps us off their property, keeps us from telling them what they can't do on their property, which I'm not a huge fan of, so.
So what you're saying is we should
Check the ordinance,
check an ordinance and.
see if there's tracking,
I
a
know-
tracking ordinance, or,
I know there's tracking ordinances,
But we don't currently have that.
I don't know about
We
that.
we
That
got
does-
tracking ordinances when it comes to different projects and stuff, so I could look into them, like tracking beds and stuff like that. I
Right.
don't know.
Yep,
Yeah, I would like that more. People get finicky when you tell them they can't.
seems less
It
intrusive.
does.
If you wanna wreck your lawn, go wreck your lawn, but you can't track across the sidewalk
Right.
and create a trip hazard or slip and fall hazard. That's kinda where I'm at with that. I mean, I'm not
I would agree with
everything,
that.
but I think if we could build an ordinance that says you can't track, then you wanna wreck your lawn, wreck your lawn.
Yep. Yeah,
That's-
'cause it's not so bad in the winter, deep winter, but when we get those thaws,
Well,
that gets pretty rough.
muddy March and April,
Yeah,
you had it.
yeah,
I don't know which one this is plugged into.
because when you're moving was.
So, I can look into that tomorrow, tracking ordinance opposed to
Yeah, I didn't get the time after I got the packet to look for an ordinance. But
That,
certainly the county has a tracking ordinance
Yeah.
that we have to follow at a minimum. And if we have to institute our own for having a fine structure.
hey, isn't this fun?
Yep.
Fun to watch, right?
Anything else, Chad? Is there a volume up?
It's like, yeah.
All right,
wait
future
till you're done, but I
agenda
gotta get
items
it
and
on for
announcements.
Charlie.
I guess we're gonna bring that ordinance back with a little refinement.
Taylor's Street, I'll look into the ordinance, parking lot ordinance.
Yep. And bring that back. Excellent.
3.
Okay.
Austin Cole made a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Roll call.
Somebody's here.
Austin Cole here.
Charlie's here.
Griffin here.
Thomas here.
Wyatt here.
Hustler here.
All right, Charlie on Zoom. All right, meeting minutes and approval of January 16th. Are there any additions or corrections?
Austin Cole make a motion to approve the January 16th, 2025 meeting minutes.
Cummings will second.
Motion by Austin Poole, second by Cummings to approve the meeting minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed, motion carried. Citizen input, seeing none. Meeting minutes summary since the last council meeting. CDA? Austin?
The big one was the annual report, which is down below.
Yep.
The other big item was we're gonna try to put 2 goals together per CDA member, just to have something comprehensive for 2025, so
Nice.
more to come.
Nice. All right, and your next CDA meeting will be canceled in February because that's on a primary election. So the next one wouldn't be till March, so you have a little time. All right, library board, Sarah?
Yeah, first off, there is a survey. I just need to remind everybody, I think you might have gotten it. It's a strategic plan survey for the library, so please take it. We would really appreciate it. We voted in a new person, Susan, and she is the vice president. I know.
Just like that.
I kinda laughed. And so, cause she's stepping in for right now until April, and they'll all change, like, we'll vote again.
So is Art in charge, because
Yeah.
he's the VP, so
Yeah.
he gets, okay. And then you're gonna vote again in April?
Correct.
Okay.
And then we just went over the 2025 budget, and then some policy updates and some staff positions. That was about it.
Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Fire EMS, seeing no one. Planning Commission was canceled. Tim, Water and Light?
At our meeting on December 3rd, meeting on February 4th, we went over the wastewater treatment plant, made a recommendation to use Town and Country for all our engineering services for all road projects involving sewer and water going forward.
All road projects, or are we just talking highway?
All forward road projects.
Say that one more time? You're making,
For all road projects that the utility is involved in, for sewer and water.
okay, got it. It's not to do with the thing that's down below. Got it.
It has to do with sewer and water. If we're working on replacing sewer or replacing water, we're gonna be using Town and Country as the engineers.
Don't you already do that?
No.
Not on all road projects.
So on road projects, we're gonna have 2 engineers. The city
That's-
engineer.
If that's the city's intention, the utility's
So it's just a
intention-
recommendation at this point.
The utility's intention, and we passed the motion to use Town and Country
And
for our
not come.
projects. For our engineering services involving water and sewer. We know over sewer connection charges as they'll be going forward. Went over the preliminary report on the 2024 financials. And I think the rest is on the agenda.
I'm still confused by that,
If we are replacing sewer or water,
which is pretty much every road project.
Yep.
That's what we
we
make
will
sure we
use
do.
town and country for that, for engineering that portion of it.
Okay,
If the city wishes to use a different engineer,
which is
that's up to
Kunkel.
the city.
Okay. Interesting, okay. Parks
Is that
Commission.
pretty well all?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Parks Commission, Richard.
We dealt with the coordinator's report and the financials. We talked a little bit about capital budgets and moving things around due to the changes that happened during
Yeah.
the budget deliberations for 2025. We looked at a bid that we are advancing to Finance Committee for refinishing the floor in the
Yeah.
upper pavilion. Talked about the trailhead roof problems. I'll just make this announcement instead of in the end. The Easter egg hunt is on April 19th. And then, we're working on the schedule for the spring cleanup of the river and such. So,
Camera system also.
oh, we did talk about the camera system also.
That's gonna be coming, are we gonna be doing something with that at finance?
Yep,
Okay,
it's gonna go to finance, we can talk about it more then, but just in a general sense,
yeah,
it's, like $16,000, but one of the people that rent frequently is gonna 50-50 support that.
I know, that's awesome.
That's really.
Yeah, so it's important to have, and it'll go through finance and back
Right,
through this committee after it goes through finance.
So the spring cleanup, is that what you were talking about?
Yeah,
Is that date been set yet or no?
we talked about timing and games and events and
Sure,
all, so not fully yet. It is listed on the agenda at the 26th, but we may
Okay.
move it to like the 18th to avoid some of the sporting events that might happen already.
One of the meetings that Dave and I sat in with Trek, they were talking about different things that their people get involved in, and they were interested in something like the cleanup events, just to kind of let them know about that stuff.
Okay,
So there's
Great.
somebody to kind of share it with, besides just hopefully in the paper, well, that's a whole thing. All right, anything else?
no, that's it,
Thank you. Public health and safety, Tim?
Most of the items come under special event request that'll be later on in the council. And we discussed the pilot program for the chickens, and that should be coming to the council at some future date.
Okay. Good. Did people show up tonight?
We had 3.
Good,
Yeah.
wonderful. All right, Public Works, Richard?
We did project updates, and Chad's gonna go up for chip seal quotes and Hendricks Street bid. Talked about Taylor Street parking, what the issue that's going on there, natural lawns, and parking on the lawns, which will come back to committee before it comes to here.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. New business? None. Recommendations, boards, committees, and commissions. CDA, do you want to touch on the report there again? Austin?
A lot of this stuff, I think is pretty well known. Duquesne, wish we had a little bit more information there, but it sounds like they're still trying to get additional funding.
Yes. And I can touch on that for you if you'd like real quick.
Yeah, if you would like.
Yeah, so Duquesne, with Everett now being pretty much out of the picture, Deb Reinbold from Thrive Jefferson County, she's been sitting in on a lot of these meetings with me, and we ran through a bunch of scenarios with Duquesne. Was it last Friday or something like that? So tomorrow morning, Lana and I are actually meeting with Ellers to go over our plan, the one that they've been working on for us, and talking about the TIF district. So we'll find out really what else we could possibly do for them, but right now it doesn't look like there's much we can do. So unfortunately, that's where that one sits.
Yeah, that's really the big one.
Mhm.
333 Portland Road, sounds like there's interest, but no moving parts as of right now, so that one's fairly stagnant.
I have a meeting tomorrow at 1 o'clock on that.
Okay, so
I
more to
know.
come on that.
Yeah, more to go. Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. The Watershop Business Center, we were gonna have another individual that does like truck training for CDL drivers, but he backed out.
That's
So
what I
we
was gonna ask you.
still have the same tenants in there, haven't really expanded into
Yeah.
additional ones.
Do we need to advertise more for that or anything? It just seems like such a waste that that building just sits there for the little bit of work or the little bit of activity that's in it.
I would agree. I think that's something that we're gonna talk about on the next CDA meeting, is how we can expand out,
Yeah.
community involvement and just getting people involved is
Right.
gonna be one of our bigger initiatives.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Our TIF districts are
Doing what they're doing.
doing what they're doing, yeah. Good way to put it.
Thank you. All right, water and light, ports and pay number 20, the magical number this time is $587,899.03.
Cummings will make that motion for that approved amount that you stated.
Austin Cool, second.
Motion by Cummings, second by Austin Cool to approve ports and pay number 20. Roll call.
Cummings, yes.
Austin Cool, yes.
Charles Cole, yes.
Griffin, yes. Thomas, yes.
Where, yes?
Leslie, yes.
Motion carried. The rest of the stuff in there is informational with some wonderful pictures. Any comments out of you? How are things going? Are we getting?
Yeah, it's kind of getting a kind of mad rush right now. Everybody's trying to get stuff done. They have the sewer stuff in for Hendrick Street, so they're ready for that. The water they dug in today, I don't know if they're gonna finish today, if they don't, they'll finish tomorrow. And they're gonna startups probably the end of the month, early March. And certain buildings are gonna work their way around. See how it goes.
Okay. And you'll let us know when we can all come for a lovely little tour.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you. Go ahead.
Did Van Holten's come online yet with
Yes.
their, how's that?
They just came online.
Okay. So you haven't seen the difference yet?
Yes, we have seen a big difference.
Oh, good, good, it's good to hear. Are we in compliance?
We don't have to be in compliance to the end of March.
Will we be in compliance?
Yes.
Good.
Wonderful. All right. All right, ordinance 2025-01, amending collection of bills and arrears. I think we tabled this from the last one, because I don't think you were here. Yeah. All right. So Lana, was this your updates, or was this a combined update?
That was what they did at.
The utility?
Yeah,
Okay.
utility, and the only thing that and it really doesn't matter, but I just felt that it wasn't super clear on who would file the liens
Okay.
on it, but, you know, it's here nor there. Like Barry said, the city's the one that's responsible to do it, so I don't think we need to really change the wording unless somebody wants to on it, or spend the money with the attorneys to have it changed, so.
So then, the penalty of the 10%, that stays with the city? Since we're doing all this paperwork?
I mean, I would see that with collection part, it
Yeah.
should, but that's.
I don't think it's
discussion.
written where it goes, that was my question.
I didn't hear the question.
It just says, add a penalty of 10%, the utility, says, number 3 here. In the event any such utility bill is not paid by November 1st, thereafter, the utility representative,
Shall
which
have-
is, who are we defining as a utility representative? Because it
Typically right
used to
now,
say clerk treasurer.
What's that?
It used to say clerk treasurer, now it says utility representative.
That's because Caitlin does the majority of it. She does and she's the one that does all the billing
Okay.
for us.
Right,
So she sends all the finals and everything up to your city clerk.
okay. Okay, and the adding of 10%
And
penalty,
that's what we do. We have the 10% penalty.
that goes on to what we file.
Yes.
I think the question is, she's asking is who gets that, the utility or the city?
Right now, the utility gets it.
Is that the way it should be?
I-
So, because you're dropping it off and then it's going on us and we're
Well,
doing the
and then
legal.
we're
I guess I
paying
should
you
back- I
regardless.
guess I should back this up.
Sure.
This is part of like a 3-step process to get it to the city.
Right,
You know, we go through basically all the work. Now, I don't know how the city does it. As far as I know, we do it all, send it to the city, they submit it. I don't know that there's work involved.
But what about
I don't know
liens?
what.
Yeah,
the
I don't
city
know
does.
either.
Well, I
I
mean,
think they just
there's, there's
submit.
work involved because we have to submit for delinquent utilities, of course, for the tax bills.
Yep.
For the mobile homes, that is a whole different animal. We
Correct.
have
The
to put
mobile, I'm not-
a lien on, so that is a lot more work. So
Correct.
we do, it's not just as simple as that, so.
But I mean, up until now, we have not done mobile homes.
Mhm.
If you look at the past, I think it's 10 or 15 years, we haven't done mobile homes. They've always been on there, and it's always been a way for us to get the lien put on mobile homes from the city, but the city hasn't done that yet.
There was none on last year's, so.
There hasn't been any yet. I'm talking like 50 for the last
Oh,
15 years.
Okay, because I was to say, last year when the stuff
So
came to me,
when
it
I say
wasn't.
there's no work much for the city, it's because you submit it and then that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're gonna get into mobile homes, you're gonna start with liens and stuff like that, that's a whole different ballgame.
Mhm.
So that's not what our ordinance is for.
Mm-hmm.
Our ordinance was simply to make it clear that that's how the ordinance is gonna read, that the mobile home, the lien goes on a mobile home, the past due goes on the tax roll.
The biggest thing, and this isn't, as far as the ordinance is concerned, is that we put a lien on that mobile home, collecting it is, some of those mobile homes, there's one right now that we're putting a lien on for $900 and some that is being condemned. So there's no collecting that, unless we want to go through the attorneys or going through and sue and collection and that kind of thing, because we certainly don't want to repossess the thing, because we'll have the lien on it.
Right.
So we're gonna have no choice but to release it, and then the money, the city
Well,
has already
that's
paid
not-
you for it.
My suggestion to the city clerk was, she comes up with something that attaches that to his license.
Right,
Meaning-
you and I talked, not Jean.
I talked to Jeannie about it.
Okay, so,
But
right, and we do.
I'm not part of that.
right,
I,
we do give them a permit every year or whatever it is, and
Right.
that's coming due in March, so we have to figure that out. But is it gonna be grandfathered, have compliance on the type of mobile homes? Like, we can't do anything about the utilities, but the age of the age of the mobile home, all those different things, because the older they are, likeliness, they're gonna be condemned. That's what it is, but can we implement that when they're already on the property?
Can something be condemned with a lien against it?
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
yeah, a vehicle's totaled, it comes back to the lien holder. I've done this before, it comes back to the lien holder, which would be us, and either we take possession or release it so it can be junked. It works the same exact way, so that's the biggest concern on doing that, and we'll never get the big one is $900 and some, so,
And so the way it works right now, the city has to pay the
Yeah.
utilities to make
Yes.
them whole.
this is done in November.
Yep.
Then in November, it goes as a payable to the utility, and we take it as receivable. That's done in November, and as it goes to tax roll and the rest of the process, we're not part of that, so I don't,
but we give you the money,
yes.
it goes on the
yes.
tax bill, so we cut
Yep.
you a check.
But you cut
So-
us, you cut us a check, and then what you do and how you collect it, I'm not.
Right, but that's
privy
what
to
I'm
how you
saying,
work.
is that's the problem, not necessarily with the real estate, because, the actual homes, because either they pay the bill or it's sold, we're gonna get the money,
Mhm.
most likely. It's the
Yep.
mobile homes that are the really big concern, that the city's gonna be eating that.
And your,
So,
and your state statute
and
says
putting the
that-
work.
The state statute says that the city clerk shall put the lien on the property if it's not
Mhm.
handled, I think it's within 90 days. I don't know if you take possession of that, or
We
you,
can start action, yes.
whatever you do with it, but that's where I would tie it to his license. I would say you
But I
cannot have,
have to talk to the attorney.
Well,
you
and
cannot have
Right.
mobile homes with liens on them on your property.
Right.
You will not get your license renewed.
But if we strictly say they have liens on it, people have loans on them, that's the same thing, so.
That's not the same as a city clerk putting a lien.
Right,
from
but
the
we have to
city on it.
clarify that, yes.
Right.
So being that it isn't really spelled out that good on here? Do we need to
This
get a little
isn't-
bit more language in this, or no?
isn't for
Mobile home.
you.
Well, it's got a whole section on mobile homes in it.
Right,
That
but
whole
this
bottom
isn't-
paragraph.
It says
this-
I mean, he's saying what we're responsible for, but we need to work out the fact
Okay.
of the
Yes.
payment and I mean, are we paying you for if we don't collect the delinquent
What's that?
utilities? Am I sending you a check for the $2,000 for the mobile homes?
That's the way the state statute reads now.
So if we have to send him a check to make him whole, I think we should get the 10%.
Yes.
Well,
I
that's
disagree.
exactly my
You
point.
disagree?
Yep, and we'll get to that.
Okay,
Well, I can discuss it now.
that's fine.
Add a penalty, I would add the word delinquent.
What sentence are you in? You check?
Number 3,
Okay.
second sentence.
Got it.
Add a delinquent penalty of 10% plus an administration fee for processing this. And that would go to the city.
Admin.
And so you could make that.
Sure,
We do a 15% admin fee
okay,
for the work that we do.
okay.
So you could add 10 and a 15.
Sure.
They can get their 10% because they have additional work.
Correct,
We can get 15% because we have additional work.
correct.
Okay,
All
that
right.
makes sense.
If we're
But do
able to
we
do it,
have
then
to do anything with the sentence at the end of item 4, where it talks about the home mobile home, utility services, blah, 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 delinquent amount becomes a lien on the home unit rather than a lien on the parcel of real estate? Because you were just talking about if there's a way we can do something different with putting
Okay,
it back
I don't-
on his license. Go ahead.
I don't wanna back you up here, but when we sent it to the attorney.
Right.
And the attorney came back with this language.
Mhm.
The other part, the attorney said, if you wanna work on lien and collections, he would work with the city clerk on it. That's not this.
Okay,
This is for the utility side of this. Okay? I think if you wanna get into ordinances and collections and stuff like that, you should do it at the city level.
and
Not-
we
not this
will,
ordinance.
but I'm worried about the verbiage that's on here, just in case we need to change that.
Well,
Because
verbiage
we
on
haven't,
here-
we haven't sent this to Bill, you did.
Right.
We haven't talked about it on our end,
to Chris, yeah.
Correct.
or
Because,
whoever, yeah.
because we looked at it strictly
Sure.
up until November 15th,
Right,
and we sent it to the city. So if you want to change stuff and do stuff,
mhm,
and send this to Bill, you're more entitled to, but I think you should approve this the way our attorney wanted it for the utility, and then you take it from there, and Lana, and how you wanna collect on that is more the city clerk's city side of it.
it's like a parallel.
With the attorney,
Okay.
yeah, I don't,
well, we have to amend it anyway on number 3.
Do you think your attorney would have an objection to that language?
It's all the same attorney, isn't it? Isn't it?
Yeah, it's,
Yes.
I was
Yes.
talking to
Okay.
Chris Nelson, he was, I mean, it's the same one that does it, so,
Yep.
I mean, I certainly can reach out to him and just make sure that we can add that
I just want to make
administrative
sure
fee.
before we approve, we can
Correct.
amend number 3, that can be updated, they'll vote on that. But I guess I just want to make sure before we solidify some of this lien on the parcel, or, you know, just some of that verbiage,
Can we
if
talk
there's
to 'em?
something else that we have to say, whether it's just reverting to a city ordinance. I just want to button it up so it's clear,
Well, I think that the mobile home permit would need to be updated
possibly,
That's where we gotta research to see what we
to
can
That's-
do.
reflect these changes
right.
so that we are whole as a city,
Which is different than this ordinance.
which is different than this
Set
ordinance.
this aside for 2 weeks? Should we set this aside for
For
2
2
weeks?
weeks?
to Get these items clarified?
Yeah.
And we can, I mean, we're meeting again in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we can defer this.
Yeah.
It's your favorite word.
Rich likes that word now, deferred.
Why don't we do that? So that way that we can at least update it, if you guys can, if you're all okay with doing what Richard
Can I just ask a
said.
question?
Certainly
just
can.
Sure.
To understand.
Yeah.
So when you were saying like a
I'll
mobile
make that
home could be
motion.
condemned,
Hey, I don't know if you can hear Joe just speaking real quick and I'm throwing stuff around.
so when you were saying like a mobile home could have an amount due, which could be going through this process that could be set up to be condemned,
mhm.
so are you saying like the unit could be condemned and then they could be moving a new unit into the same lot, and then
could.
they would be hooking up utilities, and then they
New
would
owner.
be service as the new owner?
And I have to give them new service.
So it's a whole new person
I
then.
can't separate, I can't The lot and the mobile home is separate. When it, not for a house and a lot, it's
Yes.
together, but a mobile home and a lot are two separate things.
Okay,
And when
So
it
you
comes
can't put
to
it
my
on the
utility
owner.
bill,
of the mobile home.
I send that amount due, past due, up to the city, and the city cannot tax or put on a tax roll that mobile home because that's personal property.
Okay,
So it gets tied to the mobile home, not the lot.
okay.
And that's where we're discussing the difference of, Lana tying it to lots for the houses as to personal property of the mobile home. And if they take that mobile home off, pull it off and pull a new one in there and ask for service, I'm required to count that as a new service.
Right.
Which I understand, because that's a
Yep.
whole family.
Right.
What if it's the same owner?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
They can change
it. They
can change
I don't-
the-
It's because it's tied to the mobile home.
Okay.
The only time that I can put a lien on the actual parcel is if the owner is, like, if the owner of the mobile home park owns the mobile home, so he's just renting it out, then I can actually do it the same way. But there, I checked that out, and he doesn't know any of them, so.
So he's leasing the lot and the
Yeah,
structure.
yeah, then I can, yeah.
But for right now, we're not doing anything different than we have been doing. Even this ordinance is still doing the same thing that we would have done before. This isn't a new ordinance, we just wanted to clean the language up for
And
it.
we can, Richard or Charlie already made the motion to move it for 2 weeks. But people were still kind of talking and he couldn't hear that, so. And that's okay, I let you finish, because there's definitely conversation to be had on this. And yes, because this is how it always is, when the problem actually happens, then you're like, oh, now what are we gonna do? So, you know, it's just one of those things that would just be just a smidge more thorough on, and then we can update item 3 if that's what you guys would like, so. Charlie made the motion, go
But
ahead.
even now,
Mhm.
everything went on a tax roll.
Yep.
And liens went on the mobile homes.
I'm working on getting
Yeah.
the liens on the
Right.
mobile home, because again, wasn't sure, I had originally talked to the DR, it's a whole different story. But yes, there's liens on the property, and I'm working to put those on the mobile homes.
And so being that we've got plenty of time, it's not like this is urgent, it has to get settled today, because it's
It's already
already
being
passed, right?
done.
We're just kind of, just making
Yep.
sure that we understand what our rights are, what we can do.
So
So,
there's a meter on each mobile home?
each lot, right?
There's a meter in the middle that feeds each mobile home. Yep,
Okay, so you don't send a bill to each mobile home?
yes.
You do? All right.
And that, and we cannot send, since they own the mobile home and not the lot, they're not considered tenants. So I can't send the mobile homeowner a notice of past due because he's an owner. See, when you have renters and owners, the owner gets a past due and the renter gets a past due. So the owner can keep track of who is past due on their rental units, because they get stuck with the bill if they move out. It's not that case on a mobile home. I cannot send anything to Parker saying, this tenant, which is a tenant of his,
Right.
is past due.
Is that a state law?
Yes.
Interesting. Yeah. All right,
So
so,
Cummings will second.
all right, motion by Cool, or Charlie Cool, second by Cummings to defer till the next meeting, just for a few more clarifications on this ordinance. All in favor?
Just a second.
Oops, go ahead.
Charlie, did your motion consider reviewing the permit for mobile homes? To modify that as well in conjunction with this?
Based on the discussion, yes, I would rather see it come almost to the point where it's ready to approve based on the discussion that I had here.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, all good? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion
Aye.
carried. Thank you. All right, that's the fun one. 2025-08 resolution approving town and country for State Highway 19. Barry and I chatted about this, and I think it was Jeannie and I that had a meeting with Barry, or excuse me, with Ben.
Ben,
Jeez,
yes,
let's
yes,
get that out.
you did.
So we talked about this, and this isn't anything different than we did with Highway 89, just simplicity, not having 3 engineers involved in these projects. So I asked him to put it, make sure that it came as a recommendation from his board, which it did, and so that's what this is strictly for Highway 19 for 2031. And then I'm gonna have him sign off on some of those documents that I got from the state. I was waiting on this.
Where we'll move to approve resolution 2025-08, approving Town and Country as the engineer for State Highway 19 project in 2031.
Griffin, second.
Motion by Ware, second by Griffin to approve 2025-08. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. All right, we're getting to the easy stuff, Charlie. Public health and safety, we got a few different events. We got a couple for Trek, and then we got the business association. So Tim, let her rip, they're all yours.
Okay, we're gonna take the Trek events first. Number one would be the collegiate race. We're gonna take no action based on tonight's conversation. The route that the application was originally submitted for is going to be changing, and at this point in time will not be even in the city.
When
Wait.
did that
It
change?
will be in the city, it will be
Wait, I
on
take that
Saturday.
back.
It will
I
be.
take that back. Part of it will be, the second day will be in the
This
city.
Saturday. Yeah, it's May 2nd and May 3rd, and that's Friday and Saturday, and May 3rd will be in the city.
So
Friday
where's
will
the-
not be.
Where's the Friday one going at?
It's,
Right now, it might go to Island Road, they're looking at another location.
yeah,
Perfect.
Because the county is,
yeah, the
We've
town.
had plenty of meetings
Town
on
of
this.
Waterloo, yeah.
so, go back to the original, the collegiate race. That'll be on the second date. And,
But this is gonna come back with new paperwork?
Yeah,
Okay.
May 2nd and 3rd.
May 3rd, though, is, we're going to defer this until the next safety committee meeting,
Okay,
because he is going to be firming up
okay.
the routes. He's still in,
'Cause it
talking with
changed.
Dane County, and so
Yep.
it's still up for change. So at this point in time,
Deferred.
it's deferred.
There you go. Word of the day is deferred. All right?
So we're still not going to take any action. on
Nope,
it.
that's
Yes.
fine. Trek 100 then.
The Trek 100, this is an event that's been going on for a number of years. And speaking with the chief, there haven't been any real issues. This is going to take place on June 7th from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. There'll be 3 different routes, 2 of which will be going north on 89. The 3rd route will be going out Canal Road.
And these things, they never asked for closures and things like that. It was really just because of the race and the type of event that that one was.
Correct.
Got it.
The only thing we're doing is stopping traffic periodically, we're not doing any road closure.
Right, right. Wonderful.
So Thomas make a motion to approve the special event application for the Trek 100, the MAC, for the MAC Fund on Saturday, June 7th, from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Coming with the second.
Motion by Thomas, second by Cummings to approve the Trek 100 for June 7th. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. All right, Waterloo Business Association, they gave us everything for the
They
meeting.
gave us
How nice is
everything at
that?
once, yes.
Fantastic.
The
All right.
first event for the Waterloo Business Association is May 29th.
It's not on a council night, Jenny.
I know, they already cleared it with me first. Oh,
Just wanted to let you know.
It is a Thursday night, however.
I know. After
From
Memorial
4
Day.
p.m. to 8 p.m. This will be in the downtown of Waterloo. They're not asking for any thing other than they're not looking for any parking or any
Yes.
other requests. It's just wine beer walk on the 29th. And I will make a motion to approve the special event application for the 2025 wine beer walk on May 29th.
Where goes second?
There we go. Motion by Thomas, second by Wyatt to approve the wine walk on May 29th. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Attaboy. Motion carried. All right, Weiner and Kraut Day.
This one's a little bit more involved.
Yep.
This comes from the Waterloo Business Association for Weiner and Kraut Day, which will be September 13th, 2025. From the event hours are from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. And they are requesting no parking on East and West Madison Street from bridge to bridge, and on North Monroe Street from City Hall to the dead end. They will make parking spots available if there aren't sufficient vendors to use them, and as spots open up, they'll make those available. They are requesting that as an addendum to their special event license, that the city stipulate that no hot dog eating contest may take place.
Oh.
This comes from an incident in Lake Mills last week where
Well, they were the ones that sponsored it, so if they don't want it, we don't have it.
they requested that we make it part of Steve requested that we make it part of.
Like it's on here that says you can't do it.
He did not do that. That was
Okay.
his request.
Okay,
Yeah, the guy almost died.
that's not good. Yeah,
No.
so, all right.
There will be a beer tent at the end of South Monroe Street. That'll be a separate license issued by City Hall. They will have that fenced, and there will be somebody there to make sure to check IDs. So I'll make a motion to approve the event license for the Weiner and Kraut Day, September 13th.
Cummings will second.
Motion by Thomas, second by Cummings to approve the Weiner and Kraut Day. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. Spooktacular. I think there was gonna be a little change in this one, wasn't there?
No.
No, actually, there wasn't.
I thought they wanted to use the Monishaw building. That's what he originally told me, they were talking about using that, or maybe it was Jennifer that said it. Okay, so they didn't include it, all right.
I think they probably are, but that's a separate, something he has to do through the Parks Department, rent that.
Oh,
That'd
okay.
be a
like as
rental
a
agreement,
rental?
not an application for event.
Pardon me?
That'd be a rental agreement, not an
Okay.
application for a special event.
Yeah, because they talked about doing something in there, so, okay, that's separate, no problem.
This is Weiner and Kraut Day, gotta get to the right one.
Yeah,
October 25th.
Yes. This is a special event application from the Waterloo Business Association for Spooktactular on October 25th, 2025. It'll be in the downtown. Again, he's requesting no parking on East and West Madison Street from bridge to bridge, and North and South Monroe Street from City Hall to the dead end, as there will have vendors. Once again, they will make parking available if all the parking spots are not used,
Yep.
or as they become available. And this will be on October 25th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. This is for downtown and Veterans Park.
And they're not doing a beer tent or anything like that for that, are they?
No,
Okay, I was just curious.
not that I'm aware
Okay,
of.
that's fine. I don't think they ever had before, so
No,
I was
because
just
it's
curious.
a kid-
That's
It's a
fine.
kid's event, that's why.
It's a kid's event, and you
That's
wouldn't
good.
want it anyhow, yeah.
I'm okay with that.
So I'll make a motion to approve the special event license for the Spectacular 2025 on October 25th, 2025.
Cummings will second.
Motion by Thomas, second by Cummings to approve the Spooktacular on October 25th. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Future agenda items and announcements, anybody got anything to say? On the finance night, we're not getting that presentation from him then, are we? From
I think
ours?
so.
So that'll be that
I
night?
think so, because we're meeting tomorrow.
Tomorrow, right, right.
So we'll clarify it, but I think so.
Good,
Everything should be finally done, so.
good. And I was just gonna run by a couple of things that I've been working on. So with, like I said, with Everett being gone, I've been working a lot with Deb Reimhold, trying to get things moving again with housing and economic development. Yesterday, I did a presentation at the Madison Builders Association in Madison, and talked to a group of, I don't know, almost 30 people. And a couple of them were very excited, and one of the guys that was zooming in said, yes, I was checking on this, and Jefferson is the next big thing to boom. So I'm like, show me the money. I got another one coming up on the 12th that I'll be having in Johnson's Creek, and between Deb and I, we've got a lot of things going on. I'm gonna start trying to bring Jeannie a little bit more involved, because she sits on your CDA, and that way she can kind of keep you guys abreast of what's going on. So she'll be attending, I'll be attending it with her, the first first Thrive meeting that she'll be attending every month. So I'm gonna go with her too, just so I have a good understanding of what they all do, and she'll be reporting all back to you guys. So that's all I know, just working, trying to get these things moving. Charlie, anything you wanna say?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
That's my motion. Motion by Charlie Cool, second by Griffin to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?